Now let's set the record straight. There's no argument over the choice between peace and war, but there's only one guaranteed way you can have peace, and you can have it in the next second: surrender. Admittedly, there's a risk in any course we follow other than this, but every lesson of history tells us that the greater risk lies in appeasement. And this is the specter our well-meaning liberal friends refuse to face, that their policy of accommodation is appeasement. And it gives no choice between peace and war, only between fight or surrender. If we continue to accommodate, continue to back and retreat, eventually we have to face the final demand, the ultimatum. And what then? When Nikita Khrushchev has told his people, he knows what our answer will be. He has told them that we're retreating under the pressure of the Cold War, and someday, when the time comes to deliver the final ultimatum, our surrender will be voluntary, because by that time, we will have been weakened from within spiritually, morally, and economically. He believes this because from our side he's heard voices pleading for peace at any price, or better read than dead, or as one commentator put it, he'd rather live on his knees than die on his feet. And therein lies the road to war, because those voices don't speak for the rest of us. You and I know and do not believe that life is so dear and peace so sweet as to be purchased at the price of chains and slavery. If nothing in life is worth dying for, when did this begin? Just in the face of this enemy? Or should Moses have told the children of Israel to live in slavery under the Pharaohs? Should Christ have refused the cross? Should the patriots at Concord Bridge have thrown down their guns and refused to fire the shot heard round the world? The martyrs of history were not fools, and our honored dead who gave their lives to stop the advance of the Nazis didn't die in vain. Where then is the road to peace? Well, it's a simple answer after all. You and I have the courage to say to our enemies, there is a price we will not pay, there is a point beyond which they must not advance. Winston Churchill said the destiny of man is not measured by material computations. When great forces are on the move in the world, we learn they're spirits, not animals. And he said there's something going on in time and space and beyond time and space, which, whether we like it or not, spells duty. You and I have a rendezvous with destiny. We'll preserve for our children this, the last best hope of man on earth, or we'll sentence them to take the last step into 1,000 years of darkness.
Welcome back to the Logbook podcast. I am Kim.
And I'm Dakota.
And we'd like to thank our sponsors this evening, the Common Denominator Network, for hosting us and continuing the fight alongside with us.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. Thumbs up to you.
So today we have a very special guest who we'll bring on shortly.
But first, let's get into the VA convoluted news, because we really don't matter in the eyes of the government, but we matter to us. First off, the U.S. Supreme Court rejected a case filed by a Navy SEAL and veteran advocates over the regulations put in place in 2020 by the Department of Veterans Affairs that led to families being told that they were being removed from the agency's caregiver program. The High Court announced Tuesday that it would not accept the case Veteran Warriors Incorporated versus McDonough, upholding a U.S. Federal Circuit Court for Appeals decision that favored the VA's decision to change the eligibility rules for its program of comprehensive assistance for family caregivers. The changes to eligibility meant that hundreds of families received notifications that they would no longer be able to participate in a program that provides financial support for families who offer assistance to veterans. The VA has since suspended the eligibility reviews that were leading to those notices.
Wow. So you have a disabled family member, but you still have to probably go to work. And how is that disabled family member going to take care of them?
There's no way.
And
There's
CPS
no way.
isn't just for kids, it's also for elderly or disabled. So you know how that's going to go. The Personnel Suitability Program for the Veteran Affairs Administration, also known as the acronym VHA, just remember everybody, if it's an acronym from the government, it's probably bad, is intended to ensure that employees hired to take care of patients or handle veteran-sensitive information undergo background investigations and are suited to hold their positions after a former nurse assistant pled guilty in 2020, resumes, to a second-degree murder of 7 patients at the Louis A. Johnson VA Medical Center in Clarksburg, West Virginia. The OIG undertook an inspection that found Clarksburg facility did not adjudicate her background investigation within the required 90 days. Actually, did we hear about something like that in Temple?
I believe we did. Yes.
From a good friend of ours? Yeah, the VA in the Temple VA actually hired their daughter who had a criminal background, and then they never checked it. And good for her, though. Due process did win in her favor because she did get those charges removed. So, of course, the VA had no idea over that.
Mm-hmm.
This prompted a follow-up audit, still ongoing. Okay, this is 2020. The audit is still ongoing. A VHA's Personal Suitability Program, during which the Beckley VA Medical Center in West Virginia, some employees did not have suitability checks initiated at all or were not fingerprinted as required, while other employees' background investigations were delayed as well, discontinued. They had some of those discontinued in error, as they say, or not completed and evaluated within the required time, but yet they hired them anyways and allowed them around veterans. Putting veterans in dangerous positions yet again. But the thing is, it'll always be the veteran's fault if something happens.
Only the best for us, right?
Exactly.
Only the best.
Exactly.
Yep. In other news, the Texas Career School and director ordered to pay over $9 million for defrauding post 9/11 GI Bill programs. So you're saying that we're not getting paid through the GI Bill?
No, it's like a Texas director of the operations of the Texas Career School program defrauded the government and then he was ordered to pay $9 million for defrauding for the post 9/11 GI. So we actually have civilians that are sitting there stealing our benefits. Where's the accountability, government? If you look at over at the OIG report, there's multiple instances of theft after theft after theft of civilians doing this to us veterans, but who's stopping it? This has been going on for years. Enough is enough.
You ever notice they never find out where that money goes? Do they find them back? Do they charge them back the $9 million? They never
exactly.
say.
Guys, seriously, head over to the VA OIG web portal. Look at all of these things. It's like they catch everybody stealing money, but they never tell you how much was stolen, and how much they pay back is always less than what is stolen. It's crazy. Louisiana doctor sentenced for 4 years in prison for workers' comp fraud conspiracy from 2013 to 2017. Robert Clay Smith, a physician from Alexandria, Louisiana, conspired with a company to dispense pain creams and patches to his workers' compensation patients, for which he received a split of the profits. So here's the thing. 2013 to 2017, it is 2023. And they're just sentencing this guy. Okay?
So again, Big Pharma showing its butt in the VA healthcare system yet again. So there we did something on the show a while ago, didn't we?
Yeah.
Where we showed where VA directors and VA workers or VA doctors were getting cutbacks from pharmaceutical companies for selling them at exorbitant prices to Veterans Affairs.
Yeah. And then they were using them in Dubai after that. It's just crazy that this is happening. He's getting a 4-year sentence, but anything coming across the border with fentanyl, catch and release. But in other news, which bring us to military world news, approximately 200 Marines and sailors alongside partner infantry and artillery elements of the Israel Defense Forces are participating in an exercise Intrepid Maven 23.2. How did they get that number?
23.2. Their leg
Like,
just hopping across, just like
we messed up 23.1. Oh, 23.2. That didn't go. Oh gosh.
oh my goodness.
That's crazy. This an exercise is expected to start. It started February 19th and expected to go until March 1st, 2023 this year. Good luck, our sailors and Marines, and be safe.
A former Drug Enforcement Administration's official who led the manhunt for Mexican cartel leader Joaquin El Chapo Guzman said he has no doubt that cartels are using the American military.
Wow.
No.
Don't say.
Oh my
We
goodness.
never, I mean,
Wow.
if anyone who's paid attention to the border, look at the artillery that's coming from the other side. Just saying. Ted Cruz did a bit on that. Go take a look.
Yeah, check out videos for Texas-Mexican border. You can see videos, and they look like war zones.
Yeah.
Fully automatic weapons.
But don't take our word for it. Hey, everyone in the military knows this. Confirm and verify. All the links for these are on our Facebook page. Go check them out and continue to investigate. The Coast Guard has relieved a commander involved in a deadly accident that happened last August off the coast of Puerto Rico. Lieutenant Commander Benjamin Williams, that's really redundant. Y'all got to check out the spelling again. Go to Facebook and see it. Was relieved Friday as commanding officer of the fast response cutter Winslow Greiser? I had no idea how to say that name, guys. That's a hard one.
Greiser.
Whatever.
It's Germanic. You wouldn't get it.
Yeah. For a loss of confidence in Williams' ability to effectively command the cutter. God bless the crew of the Coast Guard cutter. And my gosh, bless the families.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely.
You have our prayers, guys. The commander of a special operations squadron in Florida has been removed from his role after he was arrested and accused of driving under the influence. Sounds like a Navy person, but it's not.
An officer finally getting it.
Finally, hitting a vehicle and leaving the scene after causing damage to a person or property. Lieutenant Colonel Colin Charlie Christopherson, the commander of the 1st Special Operations Maintenance Squadron, was arrested Saturday by the Shalimar Police Department and later booked into the Okaloosa County Jail. These proper nouns are just getting us today, aren't they?
I think it's Okaloosa. I mean, I have lived in Florida. House Republicans are demanding answers after the U.S. Air Force admitted to an unauthorized release of 11 individuals' military records, including those of 2 members of Congress, following an internal audit. So it's again, veterans have been talking about this forever. They do it with the VA. Now they're doing it everywhere else. And here's the thing, only anyone's actually paying attention to it because it happened to a congressman. But if it was just those low life people, you and me, like us peasants that we are, they would have cared less.
But yeah, support the troops, screw the vets. That's how it is.
Yep.
The Department of Defense issued new warnings for service members on Tuesday, urging them not to consume poppy seeds because it could cause a false positive on drug tests. Now, this is actually true.
I know, but they're just getting it now.
Yeah, I know. This is incredible that. Well, I remember when I was in, there was a big thing about Kind bars, the brand.
Yeah.
Kind.
Yeah, they actually removed them because sailors were getting hit from eating Kind bars because of poppy seeds. But I remember as a lifeguard.
No, they had hemp seeds in them.
Oh yeah,
so people were popping for THC. Now, poppy seeds can make you pop for heroin.
The opiates, yes, they can
if you eat enough of them.
But I remember when I was a lifeguard, when I was a teenager, I had gone in with a friend of mine to do our drug test, and he actually got hit with poppy seeds. because they were handing out lemon poppy seed cakes while we waited at the lab. So I'm just like, they got this, guys. That was in the 90s. It's ridiculous. They knew about this in the 90s. Come on. We are one of the most elite forces, and you're just catching on to poppy seeds. Wow. I'm just wondering how many people they kicked out.
I mean, I don't know how many television shows there have been on the effects of poppy seeds causing false positives.
Exactly.
Just everyone knows it, and this is just now catching on. But the U.S. government has to pay a doctor $30 million to do a study that's been done dozens of times before, just to say, oh, well, it's government stamp approved.
I know for this for over 30 years. This is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there is an alarming article that came out this week, but it is absolutely buried. How extremist groups target and radicalize veterans. Dakota, you want to go ahead and pull up that article?
Sure thing.
Let's go ahead and scroll down on that, Dakota, if you please, and go ahead and get rid of that. Okay, trading on patriotism. So go ahead and read that, Dakota.
All right. All right. This article is the first in a series looking at how extremist groups target veterans for recruitment and the paths toward and away from radicalization.
That is completely false. And we'll show y'all why. That is not the first time. But if you read this article, it's about the KKK. And how a guy in 2012, I believe, was it 2012 school?
Yeah, I'm looking for it. Yeah, it's 2012.
Okay, 2012. So 10 years ago. Okay, getting involved with the KKK. They can only find one individual trying to get into the KKK 11 years ago. Okay, a veteran. Keep going.
All right. Ken Parker had only been out of the Navy for about 2 years and was struggling to find a good job when he went to his first Ku Klux Klan rally.
11 years ago.
11 years ago. He'd watched TV shows about white supremacists and saw that the KKK had planned a rally in a small North Carolina town that wasn't too far away. I think that TV show was Chappelle's show. I think he was doing the black white supremacist skit around.
Well, keep going.
Time.
Parker ended up,
Parker, frustrated over a lousy economy and lack of job prospects, went to the 2012 gathering, which had been chased across the border into rural Virginia by protesters.
Okay, so anyways, just look at the dates, 2012, okay? And then we're talking about extremism. But all of this is, one, it talks about the Bible a lot. It talks about, how he got himself involved in it. What is this guy? He's probably a Gen Xer at this point, for considering how old it is.
Yeah.
So if you keep going through, but there's a lot of going on into this article. Come on, if you could scroll down. So it goes into a lot about why he did it, how he felt connected into this community. But what's troubling is they wrote this story from a guy who did this, 10, 11 years ago. But what's really concerning is that they use this as a plug against the Oath Keepers. Mm-hmm. They use it as a plug against people that are right wing. And this is what is important about this article is they bring up, what is it?
They bring up Timothy McVeigh.
They bring up Timothy McVeigh. And that is a number one thing that is seen with VA red flags, okay, is everything with Timothy McVeigh. And then they bring up, again, just a lot of, they bring up the January 6th riots. They write this whole article about something that happened over 10 years ago and about this guy's feelings and how he felt connected to a true supremacy group, a racist hate organization.
Yeah.
And then they twist it into other right-wing groups.
Yes, and they twist this as to associate it to Christianity.
Yes.
They twist it to be associated with Timothy McVeigh, the Oath Keepers leader, Stuart Rhodes, and so many other terrible organizations and terrible people to obscure people who have conservative values, and this is just
It's garbage.
It's absolute garbage. Yes.
But the thing is, I will bring up the article to which they lied about. Go ahead and bring that up, Dakota. This is actually one of the first ones. So, extremism among active duty military and veterans remains a clear and present danger. So, this is one of the first copies that we have. And it's not even the first copy because you know how it is with the government. And each thing references something else. So, this was done in 2021, October. And this is really disturbing because it mentions right-wing extremism. If Dakota, you want to keep going for a little bit. Mm-hmm. So this concerns the Secretary of Defense, and then how this one organization right here, this Marine veteran, he literally has nothing. Campaign manager for Common Defense. Common Defense, go look at it. There's nothing going on there. No one's posting anything about it. They're like, what, 5 to 10 people. That's it. So 5 to 10 people that feel victimized wrote this. And the thing is, it is not even, I would say, everybody, representing everybody in the military culture because it's only one race in particular. And it looks like it stems off things like the Black Lives Matter movement. That's what these groups are associated with. Keep growing, but that's not a terrorist organization. They have mentioned again stuff like the Proud Boys, the Boogaloo Boys, people will be involved in there. But however, if you're more onto the other side and you use a racial ethnicity, you can get away with everything. But it goes down, you want to go down to the 2009 BHA or the Making Prevention Related Report. I see it mentions Oath Keeper. Actually, go down. Go scroll up. So it actually, there it is. It mentions Oath Keepers. Okay, so again, they're pulling off the same bull. And from 2021, just keeping it real, how bad us right-wing extremists are. Keep going.
There we go. Johnson.
So we've seen this report before. We've talked about it on the show. The author, one of the co-authors of the DH report on right-wing extremism and what that is. And it is absolutely disgusting. I don't know why veterans aren't talking about this today. If you want to go ahead and bring up that video.
Connor tonight is facing a storm of protests over her department's view on domestic terrorism. Now, she is refusing to criticize a Homeland Security report that links right-wing extremists with military veterans, supporters of border security, and advocates for gun rights. Napolitano offered an apology of sorts to veterans. But critics say that apology does not go far enough. Bill Tucker reports.
Homeland Security Secretary Janet Napolitano tried to clear up the controversy surrounding her department's report regarding the threat potential of domestic right-wing extremist groups. Single-issue groups such as anti-abortion activists, groups focused on illegal immigration or Second Amendment rights, and military veterans all were mentioned as groups vulnerable to recruitment by right-wing extremists in the report. Veterans who pledged their lives to defend the United States were especially stunned. So without disavowing the report, Secretary Napolitano explained on CNN's American Morning.
This is an assessment, not an accusation, as the Veterans of Foreign Wars organization released yesterday. But I know that some veterans groups were offended by the fact that veterans were mentioned in this assessment. So I apologize for that offense. It was certainly not intended. I'll be meeting with the leaders of some of those groups next week.
A spokesman for one veterans group said he understands the department's intent.
We believe it was a poorly written report. It should have included not only military veterans who are possibly targets for extreme right group recruitment, but it could have included SWAT teams, police teams, FBI, the own ICE agents coming out of Department of Homeland Security themselves.
DHS issued a statement on why domestic threat assessment is necessary, but added, quote, "We do not, nor will we ever monitor ideology or political beliefs." But that statement failed to reassure groups opposed to the liberalization of immigration policy and focused on gun control.
When House Speaker Pelosi said immigration enforcement was un-American, and then you see a document like this published by the Department of Homeland Security, you see what is fusing into a modern day version of the Un-American Activities Committee.
If Richard Nixon had published a profile of his political opponents like this, an enemies list like this, why, he would have been out of office before he was.
President Nixon did have such a list, and when it was uncovered and published, it unleashed a fury in the media. Now, the report says current political and economic conditions pose the threat of domestic terrorism like that seen in the 1990s in Oklahoma City. But critics say the report is nothing more than an attempt by DHS to crush free speech through condemnation and intimidation. A department spokeswoman late this afternoon conceded that there are or were objections to parts of the report from the department's Civil Rights and Civil Liberties Office. But Kitty, she refused to be specific about what they might be.
So what? There's
We
no.
don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know. Had objections, but the report, which was not intended to be issued publicly, it was meant to go to law enforcement, came out anyway.
Okay, so I didn't hear a single freaking apology in that. But it's funny that every single one actually mentions the Oklahoma City bombing. Timothy McVeigh. Guys, did you know that they're still doing investigations on that?
It's ridiculous that they keep circling it back. Circle back socking.
Circle back socking.
All the way, always comes back to Timothy McVeigh.
Always comes back. That is very true.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really complicated in the fact that they are using it. Yes, it's not supposed to be political, but it is being political. There was a document released again by the FBI and intelligence about how, again, right-wing extremists, it's not political, but then why does it say right-wing on it? Okay? It's ridiculous. But unfortunately, it also cites some of those stuff in certain VA manuals, like the Disruptive Behavioral Committee. So the Disruptive Behavioral Committee was also built upon the threat of Timothy McVeigh. And through that program was the Red Flag program that was also initiated because of Timothy McVeigh. And we actually have a guest here that is going through it, who is he believes in his God-fearing right.
Yep.
Everything.
His God-given rights.
God-given rights.
His
Exactly.
God-given inalienable rights. We do not condone the actions of Timothy McVeigh.
At all.
At all.
I don't think anyone on the conservative side of the spectrum has ever come out and said they supported what Timothy McVeigh did. However, we are being ignored because of what Timothy McVeigh did. We as veterans are being punished. So in that DHS report, y'all can look it up. It is public record. If you want these documents, please contact the logbook. I have them all. They are very real. We have the patient record flag manual that cites it. We also have this Disruptive Behavior Committee. But that brings us to our guest, Mr. Brian Moore, who has been dealing with this for a long time now about these red flags. So here we go. Here's Mr. Brian Moore.
Hey, how y'all doing?
How's it going, Brian?
Good. See, my problem is seen back from 2018 May when I was denied medical care at the VA. Since then, I was piled up, and I keep getting threats. They need to just keep my mouth shut, quit doing reports, doing complaints about the supervisor at the Mansfield, Ohio VA clinic, because she doesn't like what I'm doing. She's protecting her buddy that denied me medical care, which led to multiple surgeries to fix what they screwed up, or what they denied to do, I should say.
Right. So these red flags are actually causing us more abuse and more damage to the point where we can't get the proper medical care because they feel that they're attacked. So they can attack us in a way, but it's not attacking them. It's them defending themselves.
Yeah, I'm afraid to go in there because I've had other nurses tell me I need to watch what I'm saying because they're going to get me to the point where anytime I come to any appointments whatsoever, I'll have to have a VA police officer follow me around, and to make where I can't go to Mansfield VA clinic where I have to drive all the way to Cleveland for the simplest, most appointments.
Yeah, that's what they enacted here at Michael E. DeBakey VA. The moment you are red flagged, you can't go to any clinics, and they will fight you to get out in community care because you're a threat. And in my instance, they don't have any female doctors for me. So I have to go to Michael E. DeBakey, and there's no labor and delivery. But the red flags have, to me, it's like when they say you have to be escorted by a cop. Now, they tried to escort me with the police. I'm like, I literally told them, no, thank you. I don't need a police escort. And I don't understand why they feel that I need the big daddy government to hold my hand when it was the big daddy government that caused all this mess.
Well, see, I was told the station when at the Mansfield, Ohio VA, she wants me to do community care because she doesn't even want me in the clinic. That's how bad she hates me. I mean, I can tell you a complete story about why she hates me if you want to hear it.
Yeah, let's hear about your story. That's what we were really here about today.
All right, May of 2018, late in the day, probably 4:30, 5 o'clock or so, whatever. Taking a shower as usual, and I'm holding to the side walls as much as possible. I lose my balance, and the equilibrium was all screwed up where I got hurt in Iraq on my last tour. Well, I took a header, basically fell in the shower on my left knee, trying to brace myself. I fell so hard, I actually put a 9-inch crack in the bathtub.
Oh, wow.
Tub had to be replaced, couldn't be fixed. It was so bad, I couldn't stand up. I had to crawl to the bedroom, and my wife drive me off while she helped me into the bed. This is close to 5 o'clock in the afternoon, so I dare not go to the hospital because the VA won't pay it. So I laid all night, just didn't do nothing. Went the next day to the VA, Mansfield, Ohio. Saw Lisa King, the LPN, RN, whatever she wants to call herself now. She did an x-ray, looked at me and said, "Oh, it's just arthritis. I'm going to send you home. There's nothing to see here. I can't do anything for you." I asked her, I said, my leg's not right. I can't walk on it. I had to crawl to the bedroom yesterday. Can you do an MRI or do something more for this? Nope. Go home. Your arthritis. That's all it is. Sent me home. All right. From May of 2018 to November of this year, of that year, November 2018, I've been to the VA multiple times, begged for MRI, begged for other things, treatments. She gave me a cane, gave me knee braces to wear, gave me injections in my knee, which my doctor told she shouldn't have done that considering what my condition was. So in November of 2018, I said, screw it, went to the local non-VA emergency room. The doctor there didn't like what my knee was, twice the size of the other knee. He said the way it rotated, what it felt and everything about in the x-rays he saw was not good. So he ordered an MRI. He said, I'll make the VA pay for it because this is an emergency.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to the MRI in December, about a week before Christmas. Dr. Bernhardt's office, and when I ordered it, he's an orthopedic specialist, probably the best in the state of Ohio. They did the MRI. He called me up a couple of days later, said, Mr. Moore, I got your MRI back. I need you to stay off your leg. Don't walk on it. Stay as much as you can. He said, I'd like to get you now, but we're closing up for the holidays. It'll be so close to Christmas. I need to see you first week in January 2019. So I went and saw him. I hopped in there, talked to him, and told him what's going on. And first time I told him, my kneecaps messed up. He said, oh, no, Mr. Moore, it's way more than that. You have a thing called AVN, avascular necrosis. You have a broken leg that was never treated properly. You've been forced to walk around home and say you're on a broken leg. An MRI is the only thing that would have found it. He says the only thing that would have found the broken leg was literally hairline fracture. And because the leg was broken, the part of the bone was dead and dying, it destroyed my kneecap. Now, keep in mind, Lisa King, the LPN at Mansfield, Ohio VA, denied me an MRI over 8 times. The last time I asked for one, before I went to the emergency room, she yelled at me, got nasty with me, and basically almost threatened me. And a couple of nurses there looked at me when she walked in and said, what is her problem? I said, I don't know. She's been like that ever since. Well, it all leads back to one thing, the hat I wore. She didn't like a certain hat I wore, and then like the fact that I made them put Trump's picture on the wall. She didn't like me at all for that.
A hat like this. What kind of hat were you wearing?
Yeah, I wore a Trump hat. My grandson got me for Christmas. She even said, you can stop wearing that hat in here if you want to. Well, I just don't like it. I said, well, I don't care if you like it or not. It's my hat. I'm going to wear it. And
so also in a veteran hospital, a place that veterans have fought for free speech.
Yep.
And it was completely disregarded.
Yep. It was so bad at that hospital when Barack Obama was elected president. They had a group of people, Stacey Williams, the site director, Lisa King, a bunch of other people there, standing around the wall waiting for Barack Obama to say, I do, when he swore in. Tucked the picture off the wall, put Barack Obama's picture on the wall. When Trump was swore in, 8 months for that picture up. And I'm the one that got him to force him to do it because I got hold of Wade Park, Cleveland, Ohio VA. And he said, no, they're supposed to use a temporary picture that was sent to all the mails to all the VA clinics around the country.
Yeah, like we do in the military.
Yeah.
He said, if they don't put it up, you contact me and I'll make sure she puts it up. Well, she refused to do it. So I called him back. He called her up the next day. See, you put the picture up or you look for another job.
Yeah. Didn't you just, did you watch that report where Napolitano said, well, this has nothing to do with politics. So that right-wing extremism and all of that details is actually because what has created the patient record flag manual. It was all because of Timothy McVeigh. These entire programs were Obama policies.
Yeah, even Stacey Williams, the site director, she's anti-Trump too. She's made smart-ass comments to me before, also.
So again, they said that it wouldn't be that it would be a true bipartisan thing, and it would be. And here's the thing: is that they know that it's unethical. So I actually have the patient record flag manual right here in front of me, and what I really want to read here is this one part. For ethical reason, it is inappropriate to use a patient red flag manual in the absence of a clear risk to safety. They know that if they don't follow this exactly, it is an ethical violation. However, I know this, it says that a PRF is only to be used for an immediate threat either to a patient safety or the safety of the other patients or employees. But the thing is that they're not worried about the safety of other patients. They're not worried about the patient's own safety. They're only worried about their safety. It's highly abused. And here's another thing. You know, the PRF for administration or law enforcement purposes is strictly prohibited. Now, you know, in law enforcement purposes, on some people, they have police escorts. And that reminds me of Nazi Germany, where everyone was given their little Jewish yellow star, and they were just not trustworthy because of sickness. But the whole point of this red flag manual is to rule us mentally defective, because if you look at the very back of the VHA manual, it says this. What gives you a red flag? They have a check marks of what they're supposed to do. And chronic pain or narcotic seeking behavior. So if you, what they're doing with chronic pain now, if you actually break something, I know I had a tumor in my arm. They were like, oh, you're drug seeking because that's drug seeking behavior. No, I had a freaking tumor almost the size of a baseball in my arm. And they did the same thing that they did to you with me. They didn't treat it and they let it go for 7
It gets worse though. I can tell you something that really piss you off. A couple years later, I had a veteran come flying in the parking lot at the same clinic in Mansfield, Ohio, doing about 60, doing donuts in the back. And I said something to him. I said, is that why he's doing that with all these elderly people around here walking, trying to get in? He went off, started cursing at me, threatening to kill me and everything else. And he saw my Trump hat. It got even worse. He threatened to kill me, threatened to shoot me in the parking lot, threatened to go to his car, get a gun out of his car and shoot me. The security guard there all heard what's going on. Just went on into the VA building. I asked him to call the police. He kept threatening me, calling me names, threatening to kill me in front of everyone. Orders did take him in the back, but when the police showed up, the site director, Stacey Williams, looked at me and glared at me like I was the bad guy, would not talk to me, will make sure it's all right. You know, I was just threatened with bodily harm.
Hold on. Was she like just standing there waiting for something to happen to you and like hoping something would?
Yeah, she was.
Wow.
She smiled and thought it was funny and just glared at me, rolled her eyes at me. And the Mansfield cop, he said, she doesn't like you. I was like, well, he said, oh, there's something she's saying. All this is your fault, supposedly.
Yeah, because that's what this is. It gives these directors and these people power. And the whole point of this whole system is a gun grab. Is they have it in here to rule you mentally defective so they can take your guns. There's Gun Owners of America found out there's 250,000 veterans in the country that can't buy their guns.
Because they always ask you that question, your appointment, do you own any firearms, any guns in the house, any guns on you, any guns in the car, things like that. And I just don't, it's none of your business what's at my house. Do I come to your house and get your house? They just look at me.
The whole point is to get you so riled up and so angry at these people that they can file you as mentally defective and a threat to yourself and others.
And so they can put you on a terrorist list, and you are a possible Timothy McVeigh.
So I keep my calm, and it makes them mad that I do that. And the guy that threatened to kill me, he doesn't get followed. Nothing happens to him. They treat him like he's a good guy around the clinic. Me, I'm glared at, talked to about everything else. He was arrested. He's given a summons list. He's actually in the county jail right now for threatening to kill someone else for aggravated menacing charges.
So, but here's the thing is that the city police sat there and watched her watch you, and she has authority to stop this. she didn't get in trouble for that at all.
No, it was a Mansfield cop, and he was talking to her. He wanted to talk to me, and he said she don't want to talk to you. She don't like you at all. She thinks you're at fault for this. And security guard who said that you remained calm the whole time. You came collective. You kept your distance from the guy. All you said to the guy, it was not wise to do that in the parking lot with these elderly patients walking around. That's all I said to the guy. He said, Mr. Moore, you were so cool, calm, and collected when that happened. I don't know. I could have done it myself. He said, I probably would have beat the guy's ass. Excuse me. That's what he said.
Well, that's
I've never seen someone so calm before. He said, you just kept your distance from the guy.
But he didn't help you document anything of her attitude or her behavior.
No, because he knew not to go against her because they're a private security company.
But so it's like they know they're wrong, but if they say something, it's also their jobs too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very much so.
Oh, wow.
Well, this thing is better after I had my surgery on February 28th, where cut out part of my femur and replaced the knee. I see my actual doctor, Dr. Easterday, 3 months later. Walked in his office with a cane and limping. He had no clue what happened. Lisa King, the LP in there, supposed to tell him everything on for her cases, was refusing to tell him any care need for any veterans whatsoever, any treatments, any tests. She wouldn't give it to him because Stacy Williams, the site director, is working together so they can save money for the VA, so they get money and bonuses for less. They have to spend that much money. He was close. He said, Mr. Moore, if I knew you had this problem, I would order an MRI for you first time. He said, I had no clue. This is all news to me.
So have you ever contacted like the OIG office?
Yep. They all blow me off. Nothing happens. I contact the Wade Park up there. Nothing happens. I filed over 9, maybe 10 complaints against Stacy Williams, Lisa King in the Mansfield VA. Stacy Williams, the site director, pulls them out, throws them in the trash.
So
I've contacted veterans secretary in DC. Oh, I'll call you back. Didn't hear from me. The vet rep in Congress, I contacted him before. Nothing calls me back. I even called the White House. Called them, messaged them, trying to get help. No, they blew me off. My tort claim I filed, because I was told to file one. I didn't know anything about it. It was denied and turned down because Lisa King and Stacey Williams lied and told the tort lawyers that I was a liar and nothing really happened.
See, that's what it is that when you do file a tort claim, the VA reviews tort claim and they decide if they're going to let you sue them.
Yeah. The lawyer I was talking about, Jennifer Hansen is her name. She works out of the Audie Murphy Hospital down in Texas there, your area. She was fired and terminated from her job in California as a public defender. She was taking money on the sides from people to represent for free. So she left California, went to Texas, and got a job for the VA. She denied my claim through the VA on Washington, D.C. letterhead, signed it off like she's a lawyer in D.C., and the Texas Bar Association told me she's not allowed to do that. She's only licensed to practice law in Texas and California, and that's it.
You know, since we're in Texas, we should probably look into that for you.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Jennifer Hanton, Audie Murphy on VA Hospital, where she works at.
Yeah, we'll get with you after the show, and we'll go and look into that with the Bar Association.
Yeah, since all this happened, I've had to have another surgery and a full hip replacement done because the left leg, I walked on such a bad limp, destroyed my hip. So I've had a full knee replacement, full hip replacement, and part of my femur cut out, all because Lisa King at the Mansfield, Ohio VA thought it was her job to deny me medical care, and she was not authorized or legally allowed to do that.
So is there any kind of like nepotism going on within, because we've seen it here in Texas, like family members also getting involved with the VA that have nothing to do with
I found that out. There seems that's going on, and they seem to protect each other. There's a brotherhood inside there. They don't care about the veterans. They care about getting their pays and their bonuses and how bad they can screw the veteran over and just want everything done. Like I get appointments canceled all the time and make them up for me and cancel around the spot, don't know anything about it. Appointments are going 8-9 months out. When we have President Trump, appointments were less than a month out. They just then talk about President Trump again. When Trump, the election was, I'll say when the election was stolen from him and Biden won, supposedly, they stand out at the wall again. The security guard told me when Biden said I do, they ripped Trump's picture off the wall and threw it in the trash.
And yeah, they're supposed to archive those.
Yep,
Yeah.
That's what security guard told me, and the people at Wade Park said that's supposed to be archived. They're not allowed to touch it. Only certain people allowed to put anything on the wall and remove anything from the walls.
There's a signs and directive manual for that. I
Yeah.
actually have a copy of that too.
They ripped off the wall, crumpled the picture up, and threw it in the trash.
Wow.
Just utter disrespect. I mean, here's the thing: no matter who wins, you still respect the office.
Yep.
And if you work in a federal building, there's protocol for that. You have to follow that protocol. You don't get to, break protocol just because of your feelings.
That's what it is. It's their your feelings stop where my rights begin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Your feelings have nothing to do with my rights, and that's what it is with these directors, because you're mentally unstable, you're this or that. I can tell you what to do based upon my feelings, and there's no due process whatsoever to fight this. It's they are judge and jury over you. Their opinion becomes fact over you. And it's tyranny, and it's something that we fought to defend. And when we try to fight back and practice our constitutional rights, we're completely scoffed at.
Yep. And I even got more screwed over. The orthopedic, the optometrist I've seen for the whole time I was in the VA up 2018. His wife works in the VA. His wife is the site director of the VA, Stacy Williams. Dr. Williams is his name. Once I had this issue with her going on, he refused to see me. I had to find a doctor outside a community care center that will take me to see my eyes. And I have special vision. I had to wear prisms on my glasses. I got double vision because of the tumor back my brain.
Oh, wow.
So Dr. Williams refuses to see me because his wife doesn't like me.
I could say something hilarious.
You could say something, but you shouldn't say anything other than that's messed up.
Yeah, that's messed up.
Like I said,
I'm just worried about
to destroy my leg. The enemies in the VA did.
Yeah. We completely see who wears the pants in that marriage.
Just like
I feel sorry for that man.
The doctor gets home. He's like, "Did you see that Brian Moore guy?" Yeah. Well, you're on the couch tonight, mister.
Oh, I walked in the other day. I had going for appointments. I had to see a urologist this week because they thought I found some cysts or something. I'm still waiting for results back on that. So I had to go to VA, get the paperwork, and then I'm sitting there waiting to talk to someone. He walks out of his office, sees me, does a complete about face, and walks right back in the office.
So here's the thing. I know that veterans are resourceful. We just don't complain for no reason. Can you tell us exactly who you contacted in your state to try to get something done?
Jim Jordan's office. His people in his staff office blew me off, and I called him and he said, "Look here, Mr. Moore, Mr. Jordan ain't going to help you out. He's not going to get involved with the VA. He doesn't want to deal with the VA. He has other issues going on." And I said, "But he's supposed to be my representative." "Nope, we ain't got time for that." That's what he said. He hung up on me. Sheriff Brown's office, same thing. He don't care. He's supposed to help the vet reps up there. Blew me off too. Rob Portman, unless you get a picture photo with him, makes him look good on Facebook, Rob Portman don't care about you. Then there's Marilyn John in Richland County Mayor is supposed to help me out. I saw her at the fair a couple years ago when she got elected. I asked her, "Can you help me with something?" She looked at me and said, "Oh, the VA," and rolled her eyes and walked away from me.
Wow.
Can I bring it back a little bit? Earlier, you said something about your VA having private security.
Yeah, they have private security there, and they're not VA. They wear handcuffs. Like the one lady, I think she might have a taser on her, mace, and all that. See, that's why all this started. About 3 or 4 years ago, there was an elder gentleman there at the desk who's trying to get information. He's getting a little upset, and he's getting upset because he's getting mad at the older gentleman until he had problems with him. The one guard walked up to him and said, "Sir, if you don't shut up, I'm going to put you on the ground and control you." I'd stand aside and I heard him say, "No, you're not." I said, "You touch that man, I'm going to have a problem with you." You start reaching on his back, like his handcuffs. I said, "First of all, I know you're not allowed to have those handcuffs. You're trained for them." I said, "You touch those handcuffs, we're going to have a problem. If you better leave this old man alone, he ain't done nothing to you." So I called the VA Wade Park Police Department up in VA Wade Park and told them. They came down the next day, and that guy was gone that day. Not allowed handcuffs. Not allowed
third-party security company.
So, yeah, that's what I'm saying. The VA police is under the executive branch.
Yep.
What authorities do they have even hiring a security company?
Stacy Williams, site director, puts them there.
I'm pretty sure that's fine. That's some kind of abuse of funds at that point.
Yes.
Because there is already allotment by having VHA police there. That's ridiculous.
They have fly-by-night security there. I mean, they don't talk nice to the veterans. They look down upon you. They have nothing nice to say to us at all. I said hi to them, polite, just walking on Curtis. They just look at me and just keep walking.
Well, we did meet with Congressman Morgan Luttrell yesterday.
Okay.
And he did say that this is a big problem. He is on the House Committee of Veteran Affairs. He wants as many veterans to come and contact him because he's tired of the riffraff. He's tired of the scandals. He's tired of the abuse to our veterans, and he hears it all the time, and something needs to be done. And this is some of the reason he actually ran, is to get rid of this mess. And he looks like he's keeping his word. So I'm hopeful that we'll get someone with them. But for anyone who's watching, please reach out to the Logbook and we'll get you in touch with Morgan Luttrell. Unfortunately, since he made this commitment with us veterans last night personally, please check out the Logbook later on this Saturday. We will be showing you the town hall where he made this commitment to us veterans about these issues. We are going to have a roundtable talk with Common Denominator Network about these issues. Brian, please be there so we can get what your thoughts.
I called that number today and I left the voicemail. No one answered the phone all day.
Yeah, her phones are going off like crazy today.
Brian, would you like to be a part of that roundtable, or would you just rather be a spectator in the comments?
No, I'll be a part of it. Anything to stop this from happening because they did to me. What's them doing for someone else?
Because you have a very interesting story, and you have firsthand experience.
Yeah, we have another veteran that's similar in your situation of including myself. Mm-hmm. Paul Gunderson. He will be probably joining us on this podcast. I would love, if you wouldn't mind, to have Mr. Paul Gunderson on with you.
Sure.
And then we can all come up with a roundtable again addressing these red flag issues and maybe go more in depth on these manuals and what's going on and come up with a solution, because at this point we might be legislating.
All right. See, that's one thing made me think about. Both my surgeries, the VA paid 100% of it, but at the same time, they said they did nothing wrong. To a private orthopedic specialist is not cheap.
Yeah. I know when they did my shoulder surgery, they paid for it. And it took a long time, over a year, and then it hurt my credit when they finally paid it.
They're not. My credit is destroyed because the VA will send the hospital doctor send the bills to the VA for payment. The VA turns it back, and they come after me and put on my credit report on me to pay them.
They'll pay them, then the bills get sent to collections.
Yep. And then there was a court case called Wolf versus Wilkie, which made them pay for our. You have to be 100% service connected for that.
I'm 100%.
Yeah, and we have to. They'll pay for our ER visits. They're not paying them, and we called the number.
No, they're not.
Yep, and we've experienced ourselves. I have stacks of bills, and I constantly tell them, Wolf versus Wilkie, you have to pay it. You have to deal with the VA on this. They have to pay it. And now I looked it up recently. Wolf is back, and it's Wolf versus McDonough now.
Wow.
I can't buy a house because they got my credit so screwed up. Look at my credit report. The only thing negative, I pay them on the bills. My credit cards, all that paid on time. But you look at the collections, it's medical bills from the VA.
Well, yep, I know. I can look at my bank account and I see them there too. Well, we are coming up on our time. Mr. Brian, please keep in touch with us.
I will.
And hopefully we can get you back on with Mr. Paul Gunderson. And I think Mr. Randy Elms will be coming on.
I just want to throw his names out. Lisa King, LPN Mansfield, the one that denied me the care. Stacy Williams, site director, is protecting her. Jennifer Hansen, down in Texas, lawyer screwed me over. Signed paperwork supposed to be signing out in Murphy Hospital.
We will get that. We'll look into that ourselves here on the Texas End, and maybe we'll come back and talk about that on a show. Definitely what we find out, and a few other veterans that are just going through the same thing. But we appreciate you coming into the show. If you can, please hang out in the studio after the show. We will gather that information up.
Okay.
And everything. But we'll talk to you later.
All right. Thank you, ma'am.
Thanks. Oh, sorry, I removed him too soon. I'm sorry,
You're welcome, Brian.
So that brings us to the end of our show. Do you have any final thoughts?
Just wow, that is an amazing, impeccable story, I should say. I mean,
and it's not over
that he's gone through that, and that he's not the only one that's going through this. This is a lot of veteran stories. This is insane. just sheer insanity that this is a problem that we're facing now, that the veterans aren't getting care through malicious intents because people don't like us.
Exactly. And here's the thing. We're the ones that were frontline. We sacrificed everything. And now we're under a socialist agenda, a communist agenda within our own community through the Veteran Affairs Health Administration. This is nuts. We're sitting here. When you're put on these lists, they actually have it. I've had it. They call you terrorists.
Yeah.
Terrorists.
Yeah. Ignorance is one thing, laziness is another,
Put 'em
but sheer
together.
wrath.
I think it's a mixture of both, honestly. Laziness and my feelings. You hurt my feelings. I'm so offended. You might have PTSD, but my offenses trump yours. Well, that brings us up to our show tonight. Thank you so much for watching. We have one major event coming up for you female veterans that need to have babies and want to have babies. The Sacred Birth and Symposium is happening March 11th through the 12th, 2023 in Austin. Please reach out to them. They also have a discount to join the symposium if you'd like. And please reach out to us and we will get you that discount code. But thank you guys for joining us tonight, and God bless and take care.
See y'all.
If you join the Army, you'll get an education unlike any other. Every single day, people will try and kill you. That'll teach you lessons you'll never learn in school. Improvised explosive devices, snipers, suicide bombers. That's why there's never been a better time to enlist. In the Navy. Oh, yeah. While them poor grunts are eating sand in 130-degree heat, we're catching cool breezes on the big ships, learning mad skills, and getting some. That's right. Navy's co-ed, baby. Our lady sailors bathe every day. In co-ed showers. I ain't lying. Hell, out here with the big guns, we can practically guarantee you won't die. Unless you party too hard. Call your Navy recruiter today. We'll pay for college, and it won't cost you an arm and a leg. Navy. 'Cause joining the Army